Oh, by the way, we're going for a ride, so fasten your seatbelts. 2, 3, 4. Lightning rod was running whiskey, always knew the job was risky, set out to find the fastest car around. He got a name from a guy he knew, so there's only one man I'd send you to, that's Mickey the mechanic on the other side of town. So Rod went to Mickey's shop, said I need a car that'll dust the cops. Mickey said, how much you willing to spend? They agreed on a price in cash, of course, and Mickey charged him by the horse, half up front and half on the other end. Mickey said, now don't be shy, she'll do 110 in the blink of an eye, but you have to break her in slow, you'll break her down. Rod forked over a wad of cash, he loaded up his liquid stash, and he grinned at that low and rumbling sound. The night was cool out there in the hills, the hooch was hot right off the still, he fired up that beast ready for flight. He was wound up the hour late, he ignored advice and tempted fate, floored the pedal and sped off into the night. In all the years he's been running lightning, Rod never drove a car so frightening, he took Dead Man's Curve at 95. But Mickey built that rocket right, the tires held the pavement tight, he prayed he'd make it to the other side alive. Oh, Mickey the mechanic, he's known to stir a panic, runs a shop on the other side of town. Built a car, cops with fear, to 75 in second gear, I'll run the devil when you lay that hammer down. Late that night, Mickey had a visit. Before he could even say, who is it? The law damn near busted down his door. Mickey said, what can I do for you, man? The shop is closed and it's after 10, so how about telling me what this intrusion is for? The law said, Mickey, your problem's arisen. If you want to stay out of prison, I suggest you listen up and hear me good. Aiding and abetting's a serious crime. We'll send you up for some serious time for the voodoo that you do underneath the hood. The lawman said we need a car and we'll outrun them all by far. We'll even pay a fare to get it right. Mickey listened to his spiel, said, mister, you got yourself a deal. I have one here, you can drive away tonight. Oh, Mickey the mechanic, he's known to stir a panic, runs a shop on the other side of town. Built a car, bootlegger's fear, does 85 in second gear, outrun the devil, you lay that hammer down. Rod felt a recoil as the dashboard light shined the word oil and a cloud of smoke billowed out from under the hood. And old Lightning took to panicking because he didn't know a thing about mechanicking and he wouldn't spin a wrench even if he could. On a bend that engine threw a rod and Rod started believing in God as the back end lost control in an oil slick. The car spun out about 10 times, he could say it turned on a buck of dimes and slammed into a cypress tree down by the creek. The car came to rest in a bog and old Rod came to in a fog when he heard something trickling out down by the trunk. So he climbed out, crawled underneath, caught a stream of liquor between his teeth. He was well on his way to getting stone cold drunk. And it doesn't matter in the end if he heard the law coming around the bend, barreling on through that oily haze. And the lawman hit that oil patch and his tires never had a chance to catch, and they crashed head on into a fiery blaze. The news made its way to town. Mickey closed the shop right down. He wheeled his own hot rod out the garage. Made from parts not found on a shelf, he saved the fastest car for himself, left a cloud of dust as he hightailed it out of Dodge. Oh, Mickey the mechanic, he's known to stir a panic, runs a shop on the other side of town. Built a car everybody feared. Does 95 in second gear. I ran the devil when he laid that hammer down. Thank you very much. I was rebuilding a transmission one time, my first transmission rebuild, and I got stuck because I was reading the book, and I called up Uncle Jimmy, or Mickey. He said, "What's your problem? You're going by the book. You'll never get it done that way." That's kind of how he was. Now here's another. I'm going to slow this way down. The song I wrote about the grandpa I never knew, but I think I see my Uncle Jimmy in this song a little bit. And when I played this song for my aunt, she said, "Well, you know, you're not too far off." Singing about grandpa. It's called Olden Days. Grandpa used to tell me about the olden days, how he used to walk to school uphill both ways. He'd set me down right there upon his knee, and I'd hang on to every word that Grandpa'd say to me. He'd reminisce out loud about when bread was just a dime. I sat there wide open eyes, traveling through time, to a day when gas was cheaper than the price of dirt by far. But that was back before the wheel, let alone the car. He told us fishing stories about when he used to sail. Somehow the fish got bigger every time he'd tell the tale. Grandma told us how he couldn't hit the broad side of a barn, how she would knit the sweaters while Grandpa spun the yarn. Grandpa was a hunter, quite a marksman in fact. Said he once took down a buck with his gun behind his back. Told me once out on the field he had a golden arm, but he turned down the big leagues for he would not leave the farm. Grandpa never claimed to be a ladies' man, he'd say, but he broke a heart or two or three or four back in his day. Grandma didn't mind Grandpa telling his white lies. The truth is where it matters, you could see it in his eyes. In the days that followed after Grandpa died, we ate too much and laughed a little more than we cried. Grandma told us how he couldn't hit the broad side of a barn, how she would knit the sweaters while Grandpa spun the yarn. Told me life was hard when he was a young lad. Sometimes he thought the good would never catch up to the bad. But he worked hard and loved, and he gave thanks and he gave praise, and he lived a life without regret back in the olden days. In the months that followed after Grandpa died, we drank too much and laughed a little more than we cried. Grandma told us how he couldn't hit the broad side of a barn, how she would knit the sweaters while Grandpa spun the yarn, how she would knit the sweaters while Grandpa spun the yarn. Thank you very much.